and welcome to my kitchen. Today is a quick tutorial on how to prepare and boil dasheen, green banana and plantain, which I've already done and it's boiling here. So here's how I prepare these. Here I have half a dasheen, nice, and I'm simply going to remove the skin with a knife by simply just slicing it. You're going to find bits like this on it, and all you simply need to do is just give it a thin slice just to remove it. Also, when you buy your dasheen and you don't buy it whole, it sometimes forms a skin like this, and what you need to do is also slice this off. To reveal nice fresh flesh. Now, just like any hard food, after you've peeled it, you can boil it whole like this, but it's going to take a long time to do. So what I like to do is cut it into pieces how I'm going to serve it. So about this size will do. Once you finish cut it, you can boil it, yeah, or you could just put it in the bag as it is in those pieces and freeze it, and then when you then want to cook it, you just simply take it out the freezer, rinse it under cold water, and then put it into boiling water to boil. I'm just adding this to my pan, which I'll be cooking the hard provisions in, and I'll be just taking this together with the other hard fruit provisions to the sink to wash soon. Now for our green banana. Now this is hard to peel, and the way that I do this is by chopping and tailing the ends first, then by running a knife along the back of the banana and using a bluntish kind of knife or a serving knife, I take it just under the skin, between the skin and the flesh, and literally just lift it. And do the same on the other side. Oops. Okay, turn it again, and that remaining bit here, take your knife under it and do the same. Ooh, this was a bit hard. Yeah, there you go. And turn it around and do exactly the same. Yeah, turn it around, and hopefully you should be able to use your thumb and just remove the last bit. She says, oh, come on. If not, use a knife under the skin, and it should come off. There you go. Ooh. Now, if you cook this as it is, all these bits here, if you can see that, yeah, that's going to turn black when you actually cook it. So again, just take your knife and just pass it over the banana, scraping those little knobbly bits off, as I call them, and just discarding that. Be very careful though, because these bananas can be slippery. Right, as I can see, there's a little bit there. I'm just going to take that off, and that bit there. Right, I'm going to add it to the dasheen, and we're going to wash that at the same time. I've just given our knife a little quick rinse because that green banana is a bit sticky and gooey. Anywho, plantain. Now I'm going to boil the plantain. Now this plantain, as you can see, is mostly yellow and it needs a little tinge of black on it to make it nice and sweet. Now that one is good for boiling, and when we're doing fried plantain, this is how it should look. It should be near enough black all over. In fact, the darker the better, because that's going to be so sweet. But I'm boiling it, so it's this one. And thankfully, these are easier to peel. I'm just going to chop and tail and slice the knife down it. And just literally using my thumb and my fingers, just literally peel it. How easy was that? Again, what I like to do, I just like to smooth it out, and I just pass a knife over the skin just to get rid of those bits. Now all we need to do is give this a good rinse, just to make sure that you get any of the earth, and sometimes you get bits like this, which I'm going to cut off in a moment. Just give that a good rinse. And that, I'm going to cut that off. Rinse. I must admit this pan is a bit small, but that's because I'm not cooking a lot. And the final rinse. Oops, come on. Excellent. As I said, that I'll be cutting off. Right. Oops. That's ready to go on the fire. Nicely washed. Now we're just going to add just a little bit of salt. Now I like to add the salt on, well, in this way, because then I can monitor how much salt I've actually put in. Because I find that when you put the water in first and then add the salt, you could put a bit too much salt in, and we don't want this too salty. Right, salt in. Now with some hot kettle water. This will speed up the cooking. And just bring it all the way to the top. Now our plantain doesn't need to be immersed fully in the water, because the steam is going to cook the plantain, because the plantain cooks quicker. Fire on, high, lid on, and I'm going to allow that now just to boil. That took 5 minutes to get to this stage. So, as you can see, it is boiling very, very rigorously. So I'm just going to turn the fire down so you can hear me. Right, now sometimes what happens is when it starts to cook, it starts to form a foam, yeah? So if that happens, just literally scoop out the foam and discard it. But that is good for us to carry on cooking. Now, each of these pieces are going to cook different times, even the dasheen. Sometimes you test one piece, you think it's good, and then when you take it out to eat, the other piece hasn't cooked properly. So after about 15 minutes, what I'm going to do is get my, oops, where is it gone? Yeah, my cake tester, and I'm just going to test each piece, and any of those that are now cooked, I'll just simply take those out and leave the rest to boil until they're cooked. So, lid on, back on fire, on a medium-high heat, and I'm going to allow that to boil for 15 minutes. I've moved that onto the back burner because I need the front burner to do some other cooking bits. Anywho, I would have shown you how to cook a breadfruit, but went to the shop today and the breadfruit wasn't nice. So I'm not spending my money to make and show you how to cook a breadfruit when I'm not going to eat it. So yeah, the breadfruit will have to wait for another day. And I so love breadfruit. Right, I actually left this on for about 20 minutes and I've just turned the fire down, and now I'm just going to test it. So yep, that needs a bit more time. So does that one. Yep, that one's done. Our green banana is done. Yep, and I think, oops, yep, that's done, and that's not done. Our plantain, yep, is done. So with a slotted spoon, and very carefully, and I'm just going to get a spoon with this, I'm just going to carefully take this out. Now our plantain has split in the middle, so I'm just going to give that a quick cut, and I'm literally going to just place it in our serving dish. So it was that one that's done, and that one. Oops. And our green banana's done. Oops, let me test that one actually, because yep, and that's done too. Right, the rest of these I'm going to boil for another 5 minutes. I'm just turning the fire down a little bit so you can hear me. Right, now that I've taken these out, you can see there's a lot of steam in there, and if you cover that, what will happen is that this will go kind of soggy. So I always, once I've taken it out, I leave it to let all the steam release, and then I cover it. Hopefully this should now be done. So I'm going to give it another test. And yep, they're coming off my skewer. So yep, those are good to now transfer with the rest of the hard food. So slotted spoon. Oops, let me just move these a bit. And as you can see, this one is now completely cool. See the difference? Fresh and cooked. So, doesn't matter. Look at that. I forgot. Oh, this is hot. I forgot to cut that little bit on the side there. Can you see it? Never mind. I'll cut it when it's cooled. And here we have it. Nicely cooled. My plantain, boiled green bananas, and boiled dasheen. And I'm going to have that with some saltfish. Until the next time, peeps. See ya.